Hey everyone, Brett here. Just to let everyone know before the episode begins that we are going to be heavily spoiling the movie Halloween 2018. So if you are wanting to see this movie, I'd highly recommend you go watch it first before listening to this episode because you will have pretty much everything spoiled about it, and that's just not something we want you to do. So I would recommend go seeing it. It's a good film. And then afterwards, you can head over here and listen to us talk about the movie. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show. Welcome, everybody, to the Nobody's Podcast. I'm your host, Brett, and my co-host here, Keelan. And today, we have a very special guest.
I was the only one they could find.
Our first guest,
Boom.
Radar Steel.
Yeah.
We need like an explosion, and then it goes like, Radar Steel. Radar Steel.
Someone dies? Is that what happens after you announce me?
For a sacrifice.
Oh, okay.
We got him here to talk about specifically Halloween, since we all saw it.
Yeah, are we going to do the whole Halloween franchise? Or just...
I guess we could.
I mean...
Well,
I
you
haven't
see,
seen
someone
it.
threw shit at a fan, and they were like, let's see what sticks. And then they're like, all right.
We'll
To
do that
what, the
5
movie?
more times.
No, the whole franchise.
Oh.
Yeah, like, as a whole. I love them, but God, are they terrible.
Because we can get right into it and start talking about Halloween. Because I got some shit to say about that. The
Oh,
new
you do?
one. Yeah,
The
I got
new
some
one.
I didn't
to
feel
say.
like you'd have much to say, really.
All right.
I figured you were going to be like taking a back seat while Radar and I are like examining the whole
The
film.
new movie?
Yeah.
I got stuff to say.
All right,
Oh, okay.
Go
All right.
ahead.
Let's
We'll
go
start
with the
with
first
you.
one.
Suck.
What? Did you not like it for
I'm just
reasons?
kidding.
Oh, okay. I was like, what the fuck?
I was like, what's that smell?
I
And forgot the
actually...
hair.
I mean, I'm not necessarily lying. I didn't necessarily enjoy it.
Really?
It didn't suck, but
Oh, okay.
it definitely brings back all those, because Brett and Radar are old school horror fans,
That is true.
and I'm not. And they
Ah,
definitely had that old school vibe.
that is true. They
I'm
did a
not.
really good job
I
with
don't dislike the retro feel. Like, especially the intro is really cool with how that looked and stuff.
it. Right.
With that fucking pumpkin on there.
Yeah, dude. With it forming back up.
Reversing.
Spoiler alert, guys.
Yeah, you don't want to.
The title
Spoil
sequence,
that.
a pumpkin comes back to life.
But it still just seems like it was just back to old school horror where it's just a guy killing some people. I'd rather just watch like Postal or something like that. Be like, that's the same thing. He's just killing people.
Nah, it's
And
not the
that's it.
same.
Postal's
Nah.
a crazy movie though.
It is, but that's not really a horror movie.
But it's like Michael Myers. He's
I think-
crazy. That's it. And then he gets out of jail in an accident.
see,
Whoa! It's like,
I feel like you really got to watch the. I mean, the
Yeah.
first one, it kind of just depends. Like, so the whole thing behind Michael Myers as a character is that he's kind of mystical in the sense that like he's a human, but he's
and then
got
he can't
like
fucking die.
he's got some
Yeah.
crazy ass qualities to him that you're
He's
like.
got like
what the
some
fuck?
hidden rage or
He's
something
kind of
that
like
just drives him.
the Split guy with the Beast,
Oh, yeah.
where he just can't die and he's like super beast mode.
Yeah, which I like that in this one, how they kind of like that crazy doctor who
Yeah.
like kills the deputy. Spoiler again.
Alright.
And then
So
he
we
will-
should probably just
Yeah.
preface the fact that this is
Yeah.
a heavily spoiler thing because I think it's kind of hard to talk about the film and not spoil it.
Go see
Yeah.
Halloween before Halloween,
Which honestly, like,
and then listen to this.
Yeah.
yeah, go see how.
Watch
We
how-
already spoiled it, so
I'll make sure to put
Yeah,
spoilers.
put a tab that says spoiler on it.
Spoilers.
Triggered. Halloween triggered.
So is that really your only complaint that it's just like you just don't like it because it's not a haunted house?
No, it's just. I mean, obviously, it's like scary, but it's also just kind of like a gore flick, which is, I mean, how I've always said that old school horror movies are. So they're not scary; they're just gory. which is
that's true.
fine.
Well,
like,
the first one actually has no blood in it.
Yeah,
But
and
that's-
it's mostly relies on suspense.
yeah, that's the main reason that I liked the movie is that like the gore was like super well done and like
It was.
It was pretty minimal.
the sound to
but it was
them,
good.
the sound to like the stabbings was like that's the I don't know what a realistic sound of a stab sounds like, but that's where it hits it.
I just like a nice
You know.
wet thump. It's like that's just what like
I really love a stab sound.
I mean, when you watch like
Wet-
movies like Psycho, and I think even the first one, it's like when they're when you see people getting stabbed, it's like it's just
Well, I'm
like a
pretty
wet
sure-
thump.
I'm pretty sure there's that one where Michael Myers walks into the house where he's like, it's like that one pan where he's like walking house to house,
Yeah,
Killing
that
those
scene
random
was
people.
really cool though. You gotta
and
admit.
he like grabs that girl and like turns her around, and it's like the stab through the neck, but you can almost hear like an air pocket like be like
Yeah, just
like pop out of her
Yeah,
throat,
well, he
and you're
fucking
like,
like he slams her
"Whoa!"
face down and just stabs
So
her right to the neck.
I definitely think that those parts. I'm not saying like. I guess I came out too hard. I'm not saying I didn't like it. It's like right in between, where I'm just
Yeah.
kind of like, oh, it was just. But that's how I felt when I watched like. When we watched Hellraiser, me and
Oh,
you.
okay. Yeah, you know,
It's a cool movie, but
Yeah.
it's still like I'm not.
Were you
surprised
more
by it.
interested in that Curse of the Los Chocos or something
Dude,
trailer?
That's
That was the worst trailer.
no. What
Did you
was
see
that
that trailer?
No,
What
I
was
don't
that?
think I got that one.
Oh my god.
What was that called though?
Like,
We gotta talk
it's like
about
the
that too,
curse
though.
of something.
Yeah,
It's
the-
so bad. The
It's
trailer.
a Spanish.
Awful.
It's like a Spanish ghost name, like La, or
I
How did
couldn't
I not
tell
get
you.
this one?
like
when I went and saw it?
L.
What trailer did you get? I mean, were you in like Kansas City or something?
Oh no, I wasn't in Kansas City.
It was
Did you guys go
like-
to Kansas City or something?
No, where were
Oh.
you at? I saw you went. You were in some hotel.
I was at the Old Town.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But this trailer was like, I kind of want to talk about that for
It
a
was
second.
so
'cause
bad.
It was pretty much just a horror flick that they're doing a trailer for, but it's so they're in like the ghetto or something like that, and there's supposedly like some weeping lady, like kind of like the witch from Left 4 Dead,
Yeah, right.
like just like just crying in a corner. But the trailer's starting out, and it's kind of a little story to it, and they're
Who was the actress in it?
it was
like
it was the mom was the girl from Freaks and Geeks. The not the mom from Freaks and Geeks, but the teenage girl. She's also Velma in.
oh yeah. Velma.
Was it Velma or
Yeah,
was
Velma.
In the live action Scooby Doo.
Yeah, like I
What
can't
the
say
heck?
Yeah, she's in this movie,
She's
and
in
I was
Freaks and
like,
Geeks.
hell yeah, she's hot.
first.
I think she's pretty hot.
Oh, she's pretty cute.
And I was like, hey, cool.
But this
That's-
trailer,
Just a 20-year
like-
hiatus.
it shows all the characters, and then it's like there's a weeping lady, and then it cuts to like the car, and like the mom leaves because she's trying to find out shit that happened in an ambulance out there, and then the rest of the trailer is just these kids in the car, and it's like one of those suspenseful parts where it's like the doors are unlocking and like the windows are unrolling and stuff like that, and he's trying to like unroll it, and it's literally like 2 minutes of the
I
trailer.
just yeah,
it's just
you
a
watched
whole
the
scene.
whole scene.
It's the whole scene. And then like as soon as the jump scare happens, the title pops up, and then it goes silent, and Brett's like trapped in a car, and everybody in the theater's just like. But
For real, and like
it's really
even
just trapped in a car is
so-
what I saw.
so before you even get in the car, like this kid's like looking down this like dark alleyway, and the girl stands up, and then like she walks forward, and then she gets like
the shadow
blacked
dissipates
out,
it, yeah.
and then I was like, oh, she's just gonna pop out right at that black corner right there.
Yeah.
And sure enough, I literally pointed, I was like, she's gonna pop out right there. Sure enough, I was like, "Ugh!" I was like, oh my fucking god, like get the fuck out of here with your so.
That movie's gonna be really bad.
Oh
But-
man, yeah, and then like you said, the whole rest of the trailer, they're like you're watching this entire scene of this kid in a car.
So if you actually go see that movie, you like the whole scene is in that, so you literally just saw.
I'd
it.
be
So there's
like-
just going to be a whole bunch of like car enthusiasts going to see that, and they're
Yeah.
going to be disappointed when the other 89
These kids
minutes
aren't
of
stuck
it.
in the car for the whole movie.
What the heck?
But
I love Cujo and follows the same prayers.
But yeah, and then we had to watch fucking 5 more trailers.
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Now the
'cause-
Regal sucks ass.
It's yeah.
We were
like-
excited because we were walking in and there's that movie, The First Man.
Oh yeah,
with
yeah,
the
that
space ones.
astronaut. Yeah.
So like every time you go to see a movie, they do like the trailer where it's like the people the actors talking about
Yeah,
the movie.
talking about
Yeah.
it.
And we're like, oh, that movie's out, so we won't have to watch that anymore. And then they replaced it with the Nutcracker, which is even worse.
Yeah, which is even
So they're
worse.
like,
I remember seeing
It's,
that one.
it's a totally brilliant movie. Like,
very brilliant. They've never told the story of the Nutcracker like this before. I'm like, yeah, like fucking someone
yeah.
took LSD and then decided to make a movie
watch
in
Alice
like
in
2
Wonderland.
Yeah.
And then
Well,
decided to
of
do
course,
that.
no one's made the Nutcracker like that because the Nutcracker's never sucked ass
Yeah.
until now.
hours.
But yeah, they definitely are gonna keep doing that to where we have to fucking watch a trailer and then also listen to these actors.
I remember
Talk about
before.
it.
Brilliant
I remember
movie.
before it was like, I think it was during Alice in Wonderland 2, like fucking Tim Burton's on screen, like, come see my movie. Come see my movie. I worked real hard on it.
There was one like that where the directors pop up and it's not even a trailer for the movie. They're like, come see it. Just come see the
Like,
movie.
please, we spent like $15 million. We just need 16 to make a profit.
Yeah.
Look, I lost 3 years of my life on this.
Yeah.
If no one sees it, I'm gonna commit to it. Come see this film.
Yeah, Regal sucked that.
You're right. You're
And
And
right.
they always
Old
got those.
days.
Oh man, like
You listen to the Warren guy, that's fine. And
Welcome
then there'd be
to the
3
world.
trailers, and it would actually be to where I'm like, I enjoy the trailers because
Yeah.
there's just 3. And
I
I'm
used to
like,
be. I used to
oh.
look forward to trailers.
Yeah,
when
Yeah,
they
I
were out.
know.
Now it's the trailer at the beginning that's longer, like almost 2 trailers, and then there's 4 more trailers.
Yeah.
Like,
If you're
it's-
lucky,
it's
there's
close
just
to-
four.
You spend
it's close
literally
to 30 minutes. Yeah, 30
yeah.
minutes.
Yeah,
before
30
the
minutes
movie.
sitting there.
I don't
watching
even know why
trailers.
I'm stressed out about getting there on time
I know.
because I know
Well,
I'm
you
gonna
want to
be
save
there.
your spot, but like,
That's true.
Yeah.
if there's ever going to be a movie where I know there's not going to be that many people there, I'm probably just going to show up like 30 minutes, like after the time starts,
Like,
because
yeah.
it's
Oh,
not
well,
worth it.
Well, the
It's really
movie
not
already
worth it.
started, sir. Well, if it
It's
actually
not
starts
that.
at 7:05, I'd be very surprised.
Yeah, it's not sorry.
because it did.
That's impossible.
So, anyways, we got real off topic.
Yeah,
real quick.
I could rant about the Regal all day.
Oh
Though.
my gosh.
Anyways,
Oh
What?
wait. Oh yeah. Back to what
Halloween.
I said like 8 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Was like I really like how the crazy doctor, right after he killed that deputy,
Oh,
was
yeah.
talking about Michael Myers, and he's like, I have a theory that he's been kept alive for so long based on his drive to kill as a predator.
Mm.
So that's like kind of, I guess that's part of
Or
how
like
he's
the mom.
able, yeah,
Also,
like to
what you
kill
said about it.
Lori and stuff. I guess that's like part of his like mystical powers. He's just like no matter what in his mind, he's just like I'm gonna keep going. So you like how people take bath salts and they do crazy stuff to their body and they keep like functioning.
But that's still just like, it's just a juggernaut that can kill, which is cool, but like there's not. I guess there could be overlapping stories, but there's nothing like too complex about
Right.
it. That's just kind of like,
That's what made the first one so
It's-
good though.
it's just the guy that in Rick and Morty that's like, oh, here I go killing again. That's like what Michael Myers is. Like, he's out, he's killing again. We
yeah,
gotta
that's
get him.
true.
But I definitely had some complaints also about, this is just a funny one, but I feel like the mom should have definitely been more prepared for how much she was preparing. They were totally just glancing over the fact that like she spent all this time with like the flamethrowers,
Right, all of
downstairs
that.
basement. She really could have just, unless Michael Myers is actually so superhuman that you could get like a gas mask and then like
Yeah.
do something with gas to like be like, okay, we have our respirators on or whatever, and then just gas out the house,
Gas
and then
it
you like
out.
pass it out or something, and then you
I
can
guess that's
actually like
true.
lock him up. But I actually don't think that would work because he got ran over, he got shot like 3 times,
3 times.
or he got
You know what? Yeah, no,
he got his hand, his fingers blown off.
yeah. And then he got shot like kind of close to his neck.
Yeah,
And
that
then-
one looked like he got shot in the face. There was like one
Yeah.
scene at the end of the movie where it was like looked like it was gonna be like the finishing blow, but I guess she just nicked his neck.
Yeah, she
It was
nicked
like-
his neck.
Yeah, I kind of thought his head was gonna get shot in the head. I was like, nah.
Well, because it looked like he was like.
There's
his
always
head
got to
got
be
blown.
like they always got to just miss just enough to keep him alive somehow.
Yeah.
So
Like with that car.
Well, what did you guys think of it? Or like,
well, I was gonna.
So I'm not shitting
I was
on
gonna
the
see.
whole
Well,
thing.
like, what's your overall feeling for the movie, Reader?
Feeling overall? Well, as we've discussed briefly, the Halloween franchise overall is ass. It's pretty terrible.
Yeah, like
It's pretty bad. Like,
it's always been my least favorite until
Yeah.
recently that I've become to appreciate movies more. That I really appreciate the first one.
yeah. the
But
first one's
then,
cool.
like, I watched like all of them before this one, and like I was just
Man.
like, all right, so because really the only 2 I've ever really watched was fucking 4 and 5, and that's because AMC literally only plays
Yeah.
those.
Just those. I don't know why.
And like 5 just sucks ass. I just
It's
do not like
terrible.
that movie.
The
Are you
fourth
saying
one
that
is
it's
like
the
Fourth
word-
one is good,
I
except
guess.
Michael looks fucking stupid.
Yeah, he doesn't have a neck, and
He
so
looks
like
so bad.
he
He
like
doesn't have this. Like,
Yeah, he-
Like
part of
his
it.
mask.
like like Batman in the
That's
first
the
like Tim Burton, where he has to like do a full like turn
I
around.
said that at some point.
Yeah, we said
It's
that.
it's terrible.
Well, it's like because he has his collar popped, and then like
Yeah.
the mask is tucked in, and then it just doesn't have a neck as it is, so he just walks around and he looks like this, and then the face just looks stupid because they painted it like completely white or something.
Yeah,
So there was like no
yeah.
detail in it. It
Yeah.
was just like a straight.
This one
white
looks
ass.
pretty cool with it. Like, it was like dirty.
Yeah, it was
Yeah, I
dirty
think
and
it's the
messed
best
up.
mask since the first movie.
Yeah.
Well, you go on. You go on. Say everything you say, and then
Oh, yeah.
I'll say.
Oh,
everything
okay,
next.
sorry. Yeah,
No, you're
but so like I'd say I thought it was really good, honestly, and it obviously took its inspiration from the first one because like the way the camera angles were and just the suspense, along with just like the feel of the movie, you could definitely tell it got its inspiration from it. And like when he was going door to door, just killing people,
Mhm.
and with that lady just right
I do
through
like
her
those
neck.
shots where they make it
It's
where
one
it's
shot.
all one shot going through it.
Those are
Yeah.
pretty hard to
Yeah.
do.
Those are.
But I feel
really
like
awesome.
Which
I usually can't tell whenever they stop because like sometimes they'll do like a 180 and that's like their shot to like
yeah. That's,
okay, now we can stop it and then we'll shoot again.
Well,
and
what
do that
they-
same turn.
I kind of wonder. I don't know if there's. Sometimes there might be multiple cameras that they can just like quickly
Oh,
transition to,
yeah.
but yeah, like shots like that are pretty hard to do. So you really have to like get them like
pretty precise.
pretty
Precise,
precise.
yeah.
Which there was an episode of Daredevil in season 3 where like 20 minutes of the show is like one continuous shot.
You
It's-
should
That is
see
crazy.
It's fucking cool.
I don't want to go too much off on a tangent, but the Hill House,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
The Haunting, have you watched that?
I've watched the third
It is-
episode as of right now. So
Fucking fantastic. Like
Sure.
it's probably the best acting I've ever seen. Period. In my life.
dang.
But
Okay.
Pretty
they have
high
one
claims.
like that
Yeah.
where it's literally like
All right, everyone, remember that when you watch Hill House and go on the acting.
it was I'm not actually someone who even looks at acting really. Like I could be like, that's pretty good. But this was like one where I'm constantly telling Megan, I'm like, this is what it's about. The child actors are good, which it never happens.
That's true. Like in the first three seasons,
that's why I was so
episodes, I've
excited.
been
I was like, these child
huh.
actors are really good. And then but they have that one scene where it's like I was talking to Megan, I was like, I can't believe that this is still that one shot. I was looking for it to like stop.
yeah,
And they're
cut
just
away.
going to person, like following them. And I'm like, I haven't seen like 180 thing
Yeah.
to where they could stop it. And it's like they're all just memorizing their lines. It was insane.
Before I die, I want to do something like that, but I'm just like,
Crazy.
oh, it's got to be
It
so
probably takes
stressful.
forever. Yeah.
Yeah,
You just have to have so much
Well,
coordination
yeah,
and stuff.
Each person's having like long tangents of like really good dramatic like speeches, and then you're like,
Alright.
if they mess this shit up, it's like fuck for
Yeah,
everyone. It's so
Pretty much.
so scary.
20 minutes
Yeah.
and someone sneezes
Or
during
not,
their
yeah.
take, and you're like, back to the beginning.
Imagine if you had like bloopers, like where you're like laughing about it. Someone laughs and they're like, "That's not fucking funny." And it makes you laugh harder. You're just like,
All right.
God, someone passes
but
gas.
yeah,
it's like,
still back to.
oh yeah, but so like,
I said I don't wanna go
this
too
is
far.
usually what happens. Like we just like start sprouting out, and then we're like 20
It's
minutes later,
normal
like,
for
oh
us to
wait,
never even come back to like what we were talking about.
oh, that's so funny. But but like when Michael Myers walks up behind her and like shanks her in the neck, it's kind of like that dramatic irony where we know she's gonna get fucked,
Yeah.
but she doesn't, and it's kind of what happened in the first Halloween, where you see it through his point of view too, which is great because that's what they didn't do in any of the other Halloween movies.
Like a POV.
Like not even just a POV, just like where you kind of see at his angle what
Yeah.
he's doing, and it's like just him
Mhm.
going around brutalizing fucking everyone possible.
yeah, they really don't do it after that. Like the very first
Yeah.
movie, I think it's just like the first scene in the first one, isn't it? Where it's just a POV shot and it's all one shot. And
Yeah,
he
but
goes
then
in.
as he's like stalking them, when they're at their houses babysitting,
Mhm.
because he's like outside, and there's just shots where he's just outside of the window just watching,
Yeah.
or like you can, like when that little kid across the street looks through the window, and
Right.
he just sees Michael carrying that body. It's like, here's what he's doing. It's just him, which makes it even better because the characters don't know what's about to happen, and it just
Yeah.
makes it so much better. And that's why I think this Halloween did a great job of.
I kind of wanted to go
Imagine.
back to what you were saying about. You said it was that Halloween's the worst out of what, like horror movies, or like the Jason and
Yeah, I would.
those kind of horror.
I wouldn't
movies?
say it's like
I was wondering
Yeah, I
if
was
you were
gonna
They just
say-
categorizing it. in
it's like
something.
what I've been saying with all these franchises. Like so
It's always the
Halloween,
first or the
Predator,
second.
Halloween, Predator, and I guess you could
Predator's
say
in that?
Alien. No, I'm just saying franchise
Okay,
wise.
gotcha.
They have like a very simplistic premise to it. It's like, all right, guy's wearing a mask, he stalks babysitters. There's something
Would
in
you
the
like put, like
trees
Freddy
hunting these.
Krueger,
Yeah, Freddy
Nah.
Krueger
Like
and Jason Voorhees, like that sort of like slashers would go in that too.
slashers? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I was thinking of.
Which,
You're
I
saying
mean,
the worst out of that, or
No.
Okay, it's
out of the
definitely
one
not
guy
the
that
worst.
killed a lot
yeah.
of people?
I was gonna say it does suck.
They just like
It's better than all those other ones
Okay.
because they get really bad. too.
Yeah, because they took the simplistic concept and then they stretched it out. Because then in
Yeah.
the second one, they're like, "Oh, well, Laurie Strode's and Michael Myers are brother and sister," and then you're like, "Okay, I guess." And then
You know.
the whole series then becomes about like Michael Myers' motivation is to kill off his bloodline. You never really
Yeah.
find out, and then once the sixth movie comes around, they
Oh,
finally
God.
explain like, "Oh, well, we're this evil cult that for some reason choose a person to kill his whole family to prevent everyone from dying or some shit."
Yeah,
But
it's
like
bad.
everything leading up to that point just really convoluted and fucking dumb, and then they do things that don't have any kind of like impact in the next film.
Yeah, they
So-
like, and then they make changes, and they just don't do things well.
Yeah.
Like in the kills throughout the series after the first one get more and more ridiculous and worse. Like in the fourth one, like in the
Saw.
first, yeah, like in the first one,
I love Saw.
he
by the way, too.
pops out of a cabinet and like pins a guy named David to the wall and just stabs him straight through with a huge ass kitchen knife.
Oh, is this
Mhm.
Resurrection?
No, it's the first one where that
Oh,
happens.
yeah.
And it's like, but that's cool because I mean,
And
we
you're
don't know
just
his
like-
strength, and we're like, oh, he must be super freaking strong.
Yeah, it's just like you're just like.
And
what
then by the
fuck?
fourth
Like that
one,
one guy in the new one where the stoner got like picked up and then
Yeah,
pretty
just-
much.
yeah, and I love that.
Yeah.
That was the homage to the first one. But yeah, and then in the fourth film in the franchise, he does that same thing with a fucking shotgun.
Yeah.
Like he takes
Fuck.
the shotgun and just.
Oh,
He's
stabs
just,
it.
like
Yeah.
he's just chilling in this rocking chair, and this
Which-
girl thinks
why
it's
is
a
he
cop,
doing it?
and then she finds out the cop's dead, and then Michael stands up, takes
Yeah.
the shotgun, and just like fucks her.
I
Like,
think
it-
it'd be
crazy.
so like
it's
they were
so
doing
ridiculous.
things that like Michael Myers wouldn't do.
It's just like he
It's
gets
like
a little
this-
outlandish.
Yeah.
because I'd feel weird, you know, if you saw like one time if you saw like Michael Myers like briskly jog, that'd be odd.
That would
Yeah, that'd be really
It's
weird.
kind of like out of character because and like the way
He just-
Hear the psalm start like, hey, I really
Well,
need to
see,
kill
that's
this
what's
person.
he's
weird
got
about,
a sweatband on. He's like,
Well, like in Curse of Michael Myers, which is the one with Paul Rudd, there's
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
he
remember
fucking
that guy.
like you can tell that the guy couldn't walk fast enough while people were running away, so
Mm-hmm.
you can kind of see him in the background like having to like he's like walking like this. I'm like,
Otherwise,
Jesus
he just
Christ.
like drop out of the shot, and it's just
Yeah.
like, oh,
Yeah.
I actually ran away from him. Which is, I was talking about this one, like where Michael Myers always walks,
yeah.
but I think that's almost like a strategy to it because you always see people like panicking, like whenever
Yeah, right.
the teenage girl in this movie was running from him,
She like
He's
falls
walking.
and
she falls or she's like running to the houses. She got in one of the houses,
Mhm.
but like if you just knew that he was walking, you could just keep running.
Well, that's
But,
what
like,
I was
she
thinking. I
stopping
was
because
like,
she thinks that he's gonna start running after her, so she's like, I have to get indoors now, which gives him time to just like walk around. But
I was like thinking,
if
I was
you knew
like,
he was
why
walking-
stop at a house? Because if you stop and no
yeah.
one lets you in, then he is gonna catch up to you. But if
Yeah.
you just kept running, then again, too, he was in a locked kind of area, so he would have had to like get out of there. Which I mean,
you know,
there's no explanation to how he pops in places and whatnot. That's what makes
Right.
him like mystical.
yeah.
he could
Right.
just like teleport. Just be like,
Pretty
Oh,
much.
yeah.
Kinda
I
seems
mean,
like
That's what
he
makes it.
does.
That's what
Yeah.
makes it crazy because he just pops up anywhere.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the premise of him too. Is like he can be anywhere.
yeah.
and
But,
which goes to the end, the big spoiler, which is like that it seems like it's just gonna continue to be a cash grab with it.
Yeah, where
yeah.
at the end credits where you like hear his breathing in the mask.
Yeah.
This classic,
And like
his breath.
they're like the final Halloween, and you're like, bullshit.
Yeah, it is
Stop.
very heavily advertised that this is like the
Yeah.
final confrontation.
And that's what I was
but I'm
bringing
like,
up with like I get what you guys mean when you're like, the Halloween movies suck, but you like to watch them kind of thing. Because
yeah,
then when I'm bringing back up Saw, I know that Saw sucks.
it does.
But I fucking love those movies, and the twists are always like, whoa, but they don't make any fucking
It was
sense.
that
No
guy
sense.
from
Yeah.
the first movie
Dr.
who
Gordon.
like was sitting in the background taking a shit.
No, he was in it. He went through it, Dr. Gordon, man.
Oh, sorry. Keelan got triggered because we're making
Yeah,
fun of Dr.
I love Saw.
Gordon and fucking Saw.
It's great.
Oh
He's
my
like, you
God.
killed my brother. Prepare to die.
But like that's the same thing where like the kills get crazier, and you're just like, okay, this is kind of like obviously they're just stealing my money at this point, but I'm okay
But
with
I'm still
handing my
doing
money
it.
over. Like,
It's like a,
It's like literally the
I
whole,
gotta
see it.
literally the whole movie could just be like somebody holding a saw and Keanu would be like, just pull out like
hell
yeah.
lots of money.
Yeah, the only one that I really was like that I can't support that was the Saw 3D. That was total shit. I think it was like 8 or something like that.
yeah, whichever one that was.
That one was like it had no purpose.
Which it sucks because like a lot of horror franchises do that where you go, it's after this one that I stopped doing it, and then you go, I can't remember which one in the series it is, but I know that one.
because that one
sucked."
was where they were like in the shopping display at the beginning.
Oh,
And it was
yeah.
like the boyfriend and the ex-boyfriend or something. And then
Yeah.
the girl was having to choose like which one do you want? Which one do you want to live? And then like he was
that's
gonna
pretty
get like
good.
sawed or something like that, and with a saw. Yeah.
obviously go ex-boyfriend, and obviously they're falling out, you know.
Well, they were like I think they were hooking up. Like she was cheating on both of them with her ex-boyfriend and her boyfriend. So
Damn,
like
it's brutal.
Jigsaw, it just seemed like he usually picks people who really need to be punished, but that one
Right.
was just like you're cheating on your boyfriends. You need
Which-
to be tortured. Or they need to be tortured. She wasn't being tortured at all. She was just having to pick. Or
No, she was the one that dies in the end because
because she
so what
Well,
was
they
spoiler,
got
happening?
to choose.
dude.
They got to choose.
Spoiler.
No.
They
the,
worked
the guys,
together.
Yeah, the guys could like hurt themselves. I forgot how it was.
So like they
But
were
they
on
had
a
to, like-
thing. There was like a tug of war thing, but you were trying to push towards them.
Yeah.
So like it was an opposite.
But they were both
tug
like,
of war
fuck
effect.
this bitch. And this like did something to make her
Yeah,
die.
so like they were pushing it towards each other to like so that say you and me were stuck to it. I'm trying to push it at you to
Yeah.
saw you, but
Oh,
then
yeah.
they're like wait a sec, this bitch. And I think at the whole,
She's
I think the
cheating on
whole
both.
time, too, she's being lowered.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so she's being lowered, and then they're trying to kill each other. But then they were like, wait a minute, fuck this bitch, and then they put it right in the middle, so that way she comes down and gets.
Gotcha.
Okay,
Yeah,
there we go.
Yeah.
Hey,
Oh my
pretty good.
I've only watched that movie once, but I remember.
That's a pretty good one.
God dang it. So stupid.
After 3, it gets pretty bad.
No,
Three, I was
the
like-
newest
say
one,
by
Jigsaw,
three.
was. You watched Jigsaw, right? It was just Jigsaw, the
Keelan-
last
We're
one.
getting off topic.
That was a
Keelan,
good
that
one.
was an ass sucking
That
to
was
the
a
extreme.
good movie because it did the twist. It did everything.
Well,
It pulled
it
it
did
all together.
It did a twist, but it was,
And it was
dumb
like,
as
wow.
fuck.
Wow, it did a twist. So speaking of twists,
That's
speaking
like-
of twists, so okay, do you have anything negative to say about the movie? Like, is there anything that you were like, man, I kind of wish?
I mean, they did a few tropes that it was like, come on. Every freaking movie goes like, they're going to the high school dance, and then it's an actual rager, and it's like, no.
It's like this is not what high
That's
school
just-
dances
yeah,
are
dude.
like.
The
No,
kids,
him.
they had the cheerleaders and everything, like doing like it was like it looked like
Crazy.
a real club. And they
Yeah.
always fucking do that in movies. I'm like, we had fucking prom in our gymnasium, and it was just like half the gym.
Yeah, like
Three
some, and
quarters
some
or
of
a quarter of it
the
was
outfits
like-
they were wearing, I was like, dude, if we were wearing that at school, they would be fucking
Yeah.
getting us like kicked out.
Yeah.
And that was just their Halloween like dance. And it wasn't even
Yeah,
like
and they
prom.
had like a crazy DJ
actually
going.
we don't
and
really
everything.
know like I guess
Who knows
what
what's
they're
going
like
on
in-
anymore?
Like imagine like high school in like LA or something, like how
How they do it there.
crazy it gets there. But
I don't believe. Well, it's a high school. They don't
No.
have the budget to
It-
go all.
I think
be
it's
different
just like
here.
they're just like going off a demographic. Like, what do kids do? They party and let loud music and kiss each other.
yeah.
I was gonna say.
I don't know why I sounded Boston there.
Yeah, I don't know what that was meant.
They kiss each other. No, that wasn't even.
What the
they-
fuck? What are you, Italian?
I was relying on my hand movements to make me.
That's a spicy
That's-
meatball.
that was
These are kids in
Italian.
this dance. They're running around
High
with.
school Yeah, I can't do that.
They're running around, they having the premarital sex, so that's all they do. I'll tell you what. I mean, but other than that, some of the dialogue was like, but I mean, overall, like the characters were pretty. I could relate to them, or I'd go, "You should die," and they died, so that's fine. But yeah, I just say overall, it was pretty good, and they brought back, circling back to the killings, but like in the first one, when he stabs David, he just kind of stands there for a second and like admires it.
Which one's David?
Sorry, he's the one who gets like stabbed through to the cabinet and like pinned there with the big butcher knife in the first one.
Wait, I thought we didn't see that one. I don't think we see David get killed. Are you talking about the stoner?
No, in the first one.
Okay,
Yeah,
David.
sorry.
I don't know that
Halloween.
guy's name for some reason.
Yeah.
I always forget it.
Yeah, but in the first Halloween, when that happens,
Uh-huh.
Michael Myers just kind of stands there and he admires it. So
Yeah.
you're like, oh, okay. And then when he sets up all that shit to creep the fuck out of Laurie with like the tombstone and her dead friend, and he's like positioned everyone to fall out of closets and stuff. It's like he actually cares. Like he thinks his killing is art, and they kind of bring that back in this one because he's doing ridiculous stuff. And like when he positions I don't even know what he does with the doctor. Like he skins the doctor's face and puts it in the car, and has the police car.
that was a cop.
That was the
That was
cop.
Cop's
Okay,
name.
that was the
other
cop's
guy.
name.
He fucking.
Oh yeah, he
cursed
obliterated. Yeah, he obliterated the doctor. But like, he took time.
Yeah, I know.
What
I
was
was
he
like,
doing?
I
Was
was
he
like,
sitting there?
I thought about that too. I was like, he took the time to like cut this guy's head off.
Yeah.
Like I'm guessing he had to like mush out his
Yeah.
innards and stuff.
He went
that
to
was
the
pretty
hard.
fucking crazy.
And he had to drive to the hardware store, get the lights to put in there.
He just used a
Primer.
cop light.
Maybe
I
I
think the
guess
main
so.
person
He
I feel
used
the,
He used a flashlight.
Oh,
the main
okay,
person
okay.
I feel bad for is the husband. What's his name?
Yeah.
Ray.
I was like, that guy's
Ray.
pretty cool, and he didn't really.
I was gonna say he was probably my favorite.
He didn't have
Besides
much-
Michael Myers, because I love Michael Myers killing people.
He didn't have much to do with it, but I was also.
I have something to say about Ray whenever we get to it.
I was gonna say, what do you guys think? What is the actual best slasher?
Overall,
Just like
Like slasher,
out of
like
all-
character or movie?
yeah.
I'd say movie. Like
Okay,
out of
I'm
that
gonna
genre,
go-
what's the best movie?
I have a bias. So the original Halloween is my
Yeah.
favorite horror movie, and I think it's the
Favorite
best.
horror movie. Period.
It's Halloween.
Whoa.
So sorry. Okay, what about you though? It's probably
Favorite horror movie?
yeah.
It's Annabelle.
I said it
Oh.
was. I'm not sure if I
it's
said it was my favorite, but Sinister.
Sinister is what you said.
Okay, that's a
Is
solid
up there.
one.
I think Sinister
I
would
said
be
Cabin in the Woods
really
is
good.
up there, but that's not necessarily in that like
Yeah, I was
actually.
gonna
I'm
say.
actually scared.
It's like a parody of it, but I mean, it's still
I'm gonna go out on a limb. Like it won't be a movie, but I can already tell that Hill House. It's good.
It's good.
It's very good.
Well, if we're going
Yeah,
films,
if we're going films, it won't count. But
Sounds
I'm
good.
saying that is like
pretty good shit.
it's
Pretty
it's
epic.
pretty much like each one is filmed like it's one of the new horror movies, but it actually has a good story. Like,
Yeah. An
that's
actual story.
That's the only thing that I have a problem with most horror movies is that they just like kind of do it like they're like,
Yeah.
oh, as long as it's scary, the story doesn't need to do anything.
Yeah, like they don't even
But-
think about the story,
Yeah.
and then as they're going through filming,
is-
they're going, "Wait."
Which is where most of those movies were like, Sinister was like it's just scary, but then it has an interesting concept at the end.
yeah.
Which
Which
you're
is
like, oh, it's just a demon, and then it's like, oh, he's like stealing these kids from photographs and stuff
Yeah.
like that, or
Well,
putting them in.
yeah.
Photographs.
And, like,
no, he's putting
taking
them in
them-
like the reels, like the film.
yeah.
Oh, Sinister. Okay,
Yeah.
I thought we were talking about the.
And
Annabelle
that's how horror movies do it. Is they take some simple concept that
And,
you're
like,
like
That
that
seems
normal
like it
people
could be
do.
boring.
I think
Yeah.
Sinister.
It
Like
makes it.
I like Sinister, but I think what really brings it down, being like a great film, is that they just like wasn't as gory as it should be. I think is that movie rated R or PG-13?
That's rated R.
You
Is
think it goes that as gory as it should have been?
I was
The
like,
movie starts out with a family hanging from a tree.
That's not.
Yeah.
But I was like, like the
gonna say.
lawnmower one, which is my favorite.
Well, that's
part
where
of
it
that.
cuts
Yeah.
out. It's like,
That's where
like,
That's
it
my
gets
favorite
super
part of
loud.
the film.
Now,
but
a lot of films don't do jump scares good at all because they're just
Yeah.
they're so cheap. And I the only way I like a jump scare is if it's done well,
Yeah,
and that was done really well.
that like scared. Like
That was
I can tell whenever
really
it's
good.
like I got scared, and then it's like where that instant your heart just literally like jumps to like so many
it's
beats per second. I'm like, whoa, that was fucking scary. And that was actually where I actually got like a bruise on my thigh because Megan like squeezed my thigh so fast and so hard that I was like, I had to be like, what the fuck? Like, that hurt really bad.
Oh man.
But
You ruined the movie.
yeah, there were some gory parts in that movie because there was the one where they're all the family sleeping and the kid goes up and cuts all
Yeah,
the
like
throats.
slits their
You can see,
throats.
all the, but it's like because he
It's
does it so slowly that they're like a nice peaceful sleep and then there's like
It's not like
it's
it's
like God damn.
after I watched it like a second time or third time, I was like, all right, this is a little bit better. But
me and Megan watch it quite a bit.
So
But,
I was just
okay.
kind of like, I just remember like the trailer. I was like, oh, this looks really good, and then like the movie was just kind of disappointing to me.
I feel like
But
Sinister
I think
2
it's gotten better since I've watched it a second or third time.
Sinister 2 was like absolute poop.
Oh,
It was really bad.
I
'cause
forget
it
that
follows,
movie. I
It
forget
follows
that
the dumb cop.
Yeah.
And he's the main character.
I
now
forgot that.
Well,
movie
that's just-
from the first one.
even
and I'm
worse.
like, why the fuck would you ever do this? But it like
Ethan Hawke.
we watched it
did one.
because it explains some of the backstory to the first one of like what the actual demon is like.
See,
more
that's
about it.
that's what I don't like about horror movies is when they
Yeah.
explain stuff.
when
They're
they
like,
explain,
let's explain
it.
more
Which
about
is
the demon.
okay. So, let's. Are you done with?
Oh yeah,
everything.
I was gonna say, but I have a perfect example for like the explaining.
Uh-huh.
Pinhead from Hellraiser,
I
right?
explain it too much.
Yeah. So the first movie, it's great because him and the rest of the Cenobites—that's what they're called, the BDSM guys.
Yeah.
They're
That's pretty much what the movie
Yeah,
is. BDSM hell guys.
BDSM. They forgot the safe word and they're just going all out.
Yeah.
But so
What's your safe word?
No, it's the Jesus wept or something like that.
Jesus
He like has a weird
wept.
smile on his face.
That's so weird.
What?
There's a part at the end of the movie where he's got like all the hooks in him,
Yeah.
and he's like there's no reason for him saying it. He's just like Jesus wept. And then he
he's
pulls
I
out
need to
like-
fucking watch this movie.
They're
I'm so
pretty
sad.
good.
Dude,
I-
Hellraiser's pretty
I
good.
enjoyed them. The story was actually pretty interesting.
It's a well done movie, actually.
But then the second one, they are like, we're in it.
yeah,
We're in hell.
but in the first one, like Pinhead, you don't know anything about him. He's just some dude that shows up and looks creepy as fuck and is like, I'm here
think
to
he's like the
torture you.
least creepiest looking character.
well, yeah, he
He
is.
just
Or
looks
out
kinda
of his
silly.
out of his gang, he's the least creepiest. I would
Yeah.
like rather talk to him than the other. Like,
Well, the Chatter one is Chatter, the one who's just like
yeah,
he's
that-
just a
that's
mouth. That's
He doesn't have
horrifying.
lips, so it's
like
he's just clacking his teeth together. And, you're just
And he
like,
was-
I know the general like designs of those
yeah.
too.
And he was originally supposed to like be feral, so he would be like down on his like on all fours and just like shatter and like walk towards you. That'd be even
That'd be
worse.
terrifying.
Crazy.
Yeah. But so like in the first one, they don't explain anything about him
Yeah.
or the rest of the guys. They're like, he's just there.
yeah.
You get fucked. And then the second one, they're like, oh yeah, he was in World War I, and he opened the box, and bad stuff happened. And then the third one, they're like, he went to this boarding school, and here's the first 24 years of his life before he opened
Did
the
they
puzzle
say that?
box.
Did they say stuff about World War One and?
Oh, I guess
and the second
not,
one?
but, I mean, it was
I
kinda
didn't see that
implied.
one yet because I watched the second one too, and it just went into like more of like actual hell.
Yeah,
and
that's
what
true.
that is. But I didn't really see anything else on Pinhead, but it still like took away the mystery from
Yeah.
what it was all about.
Yeah, so
But I would, even though they still didn't explain like what's your pleasure, that shit. Like,
Yeah.
why do these people want to escape if they wanted the pain of that? Like that's a whole nother story though. But
yeah, but
I'd like them to explain that, but not the other shit.
But so like when Pinhead showed up and was mysterious, you were like, "Ooh, that's cool.
Mhm.
I really like that." And you're more into this story.
I really
Yeah,
like that.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Then I forgot the safe word. No.
Yeah.
But in the second one, when they explain a little bit more, you're like, okay. I mean, I guess I wanted to know that, but now he's not as mysterious. And then the rest of the franchise, besides also sucking cock, they explain more and more of Pinhead and the puzzle box and all of that, and you're just like, there's no point in me watching
Yeah.
this. He was just some British dude, you know?
The I'm trying to think of more examples of like where they ruin it by like revealing more things.
Freddy Krueger would also be another.
You know, I've never seen like any Freddy Krueger movie
What?
ever.
The first one is really good, and it's also
So the
Fun
you're saying is that
fact.
all these movies are the first one is the best.
yeah.
You can never top
Yeah.
it.
It's true.
Except
Like,
for Friday the 13th, I don't like the first one that much.
yeah, that's fair. It's not Jason who does the killing; it's his mom.
Spoilers.
the whole thing.
30-year spoiler, guys.
You can't spoil Keanu because if you ever watched it, he's gonna be like, "Oh, I just know some bitch."
Well, I'm like, I can understand with like 30-year-old movies, but usually spoilers just in general, I'm probably the worst person about them.
Yeah.
I'll fucking fuck somebody up. They spoil something.
Oh shit.
All right. Well, anyway.
Oh wait. Oh yeah. Back. What are your opinions on the new Halloween movie, Brett?
Just jumping everywhere. I thought it was good. And I've been listening to other people's reviews, and they're all like, "Man, I'm really disappointed by this." I've only heard one guy that's like, "This movie's 10 out of 10," and like,
Oh yeah.
I think it's out of the whole series, I'd say it's probably the best one after
Really?
the original.
Oh, okay. There we go. Yeah.
And like the thing about it, it seems like they wiped out everything from the series. So they just went back. They went the first one, and now there's this one timeline wise, and they've already done that before with H2O.
Ooh.
So it's like they've kind of just like made a sequel to the first one twice now. This is where like the movies get really convoluted because they just are all over the place.
Yeah.
So like, but the thing is, it was like there was elements of each movie in the series in this movie because there was like, it was like the kills, there was like some offhand reference to it, and there was just like, it just seemed like a lot of shit was just taken from all the other movies and they stockpiled it in this. So it seems like it's a big homage,
Yeah.
which is I liked. I was like, oh, that's cool. I
The
like that.
nostalgia factor definitely
Like
helps.
I like the scene where what's her face? I don't even know what that girl's name was in the movie. The granddaughter. I don't even know her name.
I can't remember it.
Anyway, I like the scene where like she's in class and it's literally just a
Yeah.
reshot scene of when Lori was in class and they're talking about the same thing. Too.
Yeah, and she
They're
looks
talking
out the
about fate.
window and then it's Lori.
Yeah.
That is great.
I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like, so it was like when they were paying homage to the original. I was like, that's cool.
Oh, don't forget when they're like fighting in the mannequin room, Lori and Michael pushes her out,
Yeah.
and then he like goes to
Goes
check
to-
and she's gone, as
Yeah.
opposed to in the first one where Dr. Loomis goes to check and Michael's gone.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
Great homage.
Overall, I thought it was really good. There's some things where I'm kind of like, could have done without that, or could have done
Right,
without
so-
this. Like
Give an example.
Ray could have been out of the movie and it would not have mattered. That guy was just like, he was just like,
Wasn't there a
I guess he
random
was-
line where he's like, I got peanut butter on my teeth?
That was funny.
everything with that guy was like peanut butter this, peanut butter that. Oh, and then
No, it wasn't.
so
There's this one part where he gets.
oh no,
peanut butter
maybe
on
I'm
his
thinking
dick.
they do talk about peanut butter like twice in this movie because they're talking about that which is another scene I thought was stupid, was the two cops talking about the fucking
Oh yeah.
sandwich. I was
What
like,
the hell was that?
but yeah, so he dies and like nobody gave a fuck.
Like,
Yeah,
the
like-
wife was just like,
She was
I'm
just like-
staying in there. She's like, what about Ray? She's like, or the mom says,
Don't
don't
worry.
Lori's-
worry.
Yeah.
But then like she knows that he's dead.
Like,
and she's not even.
I don't
like,
even
mourning
understand
about
why
it.
he would think to go outside
Yeah.
when that cop, like, if a cop car just strolls up, no one gets out, and I'm like, oh, well, there's obviously a guy out on the loose that's
Gonna
gonna
me,
fuck
you
people
know?
up. Like, I ain't gonna walk outside.
Or I mean, even whenever that shit happens, I mean, this is just like ripping apart like the logic in horror movies where it's like they're not gonna do what you would do.
Right.
But like if I open up that car door and I saw the cop dead, you just automatically start running back to the house. You don't stare at it while Michael Myers is creeping up behind you.
Yeah.
He's like, "What happened here?" And then you just get fucking wrecked
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
behind.
So like Ray was pretty unsubstantial to this whole film. Like,
Yeah.
I would see that in the cop car and automatically do like an NFL juke and just be like, "Someone's got to be behind me right now." Just
yeah,
like,
it was just like no one gave a fuck. He died, and it was like, okay.
All right. Cool.
really just
Uh,
skip over it.
The big twist in this movie I thought was pretty dumb. I was like, okay.
Oh, and he's just like.
Because
back.
he just like, he's like, you ran him over. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to blow this motherfucker's head off. And then he's just like, this pen I've had this whole time is actually
Yeah.
a knife.
Yeah.
And he just
Oh,
fucking, you're like, what the fuck? You killed the cool cop.
Yeah.
I like that guy.
I did. I like the cop.
So
Was
he's
he
dead.
in
And
the first
then,
one, the actor?
Huh?
Was the actor in the first one?
I
don't
Because
think
they
he
said that he
was.
was.
His character was like
Yeah, his
on the
character.
on the
case.
scene
Okay.
when
on the
he came
scene,
in.
Yeah.
I was like, I wonder if
So-
this guy was actually in it. Like,
Yeah,
so.
and you know what's crazy is I was thinking about it before I saw the movie. I was like, I wonder if there's gonna be like a big twist in this movie. I was like, I feel like there's got to be, but then I was like, in the spirit of Halloween,
There should.
there
be.
wouldn't be. And I was like, I don't think they'd do that. So then when this motherfucker's just like, I'm gonna kill you, and then he puts on Michael's mask, and I was like, what
That's
the
weird.
fuck is going on? And then he's like, well, I gotta stuff him in the backseat of this car with you. Gotta get to your grandma's house. That whole part, it just seemed like it was just an excuse to be like, let's get Michael where he needs to be so we can start the third act.
Yeah.
It was like, because here's the whole thing. I don't think that Michael gave. I don't, and I've been trying to think about this. I don't know. This is maybe what they were trying to do, is trying to get you to think about what his motives is. Because the whole plot, like the whole movie, they're like, oh, I wonder what I want to know what motivates him. Is it Laurie, or is it just his drive to kill or whatnot? It didn't seem like he gave a shit whether Laurie was around or not. And I don't know if maybe he was just going around killing people until someone found out so that he could lure her out.
Yeah, maybe that was.
Or because I just think to myself, like, does he even fucking care, or does he know that she's watching and he's just trying to lure her in? Because like when she finally comes out and sees him, you know, he sees her, she shoots up in the window. Like, he just blazes past the fucking cop.
Yeah.
He doesn't give a fuck about him. He just takes off, and it's like he's running away. She clips him, and then it was like, I don't even remember what happened. She shoots him, and then like right after that, it was like over. It was like, you're not gonna follow him or nothing.
Yeah.
And
It was interesting.
so I was like, and it didn't even seem like he cared. But I mean, granted, there was a lot of people, so I mean, I think he knew that he wasn't gonna be able to get through that situation. But I was just like, either he's trying to lure her out, or he just doesn't give a fuck. And honestly, I was just like, the fact that they were trying to explain it, I was like, that's the whole point. Is like, you don't know what motivates him. It's just like, he just does.
I kind of like that, though, how they, like, finally near the end with the doctor's like, say something. And then he just curb stomps his face in. It's like, guess what his motives are? Fuck you.
And I thought that was kind of, I mean, it was cool at first when they were like, say something. Because everyone knows, like, he's not going to say anything.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't get the whole, like, all the random people, the prisoners being like,
Well, they're all schizophrenic.
Yeah.
They're all mentally crazy.
oh, mentally.
Yeah.
To
I mean,
where they
they're
have
just
to
scared.
And then, like,
Yeah.
I guess with the mask being around, it changes the atmosphere of the weather because it started getting
Yeah.
windy and
a
shit.
hurricane was about to fucking happen with the mask.
So yeah, it was like,
Gotta
I
take
just-
some liberties with the weather on that day.
I just felt like them trying to make a whole plot and or maybe just even a side plot of like explaining the mental being of Michael and whatnot. I really felt like, you know, they should have focused more on like the mental being of Laurie,
Yeah.
which is kind of another problem with this film, is it doesn't really like stick with her the whole time, which is kind of crazy because like the whole movie seems like it's just centered around Laurie and Michael, but it seems like there's more screen time for the granddaughter, which I was like, well, she's not bad, but her whole plot was just kind of pointless.
It's not as interesting.
Because like it's setting up the dance. You're like, all right, cool.
Yeah, go to the dance, whatever.
And like Michael has no impact on this dance at all, which would have been cool had he popped up on the scene and maybe started killing people there.
Well,
They
he
don't do
wouldn't
that.
be able to make it out of that.
Yeah.
Maybe pick up the phone out of the nacho cheese or the pudding or whatever it was.
Yeah, whatever.
See,
that
no one
was.
knows what that is. I think it's queso. Everybody
think
says different things. They're like, oh, it's Jello. And
Someone
like, oh,
said
it's pudding.
I think either Megan said pudding, and
I think
I was
it's
just like,
queso.
yeah, it's pudding, but I need to look at it again.
I think it's cheese.
it could be cheese
It
because it
looked
was
like
next
cheese.
to chips.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's cheese.
so I mean,
no one,
you don't dip your chips in pudding.
no one puts pudding
It
in a
looks like-
fucking party
It
like
looks
that.
looked like such a mysterious goo that I was like, what the fuck is that?
Maybe it's the worst made punch.
Yeah. And he just like fucking. But the way that he put the phone in there doesn't seem like cheese,
It's like, I'm guessing it's like real
gets
like
stuck in there,
shitty
and then
like
sinks in.
goopy cheese.
So it's kind of
That's
like
what Velveeta's kind of like though.
Yeah. So it'd probably be really good
The
fake
whole-
cheese.
I don't
the
know, the
thing of
whole-
Velveeta.
This is fucking Velveeta Gate over here.
But yeah, whoever that fucking what's his name, boyfriend's name.
I don't know. The
Fucking-
boyfriend, I
just
couldn't
fucking run up and punch that guy.
I couldn't believe he didn't die.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I know. he
After
did-
that scene, he
His
like, no
chubby
one gives a
friend
fuck.
he definitely
got-
yeah, the chubby
yeah,
friend
The chubby friend got it, and he got
suddenly
away.
went into like friend zone, like right into it. It was
Yeah.
like,
That's
the
just
most
a-
cringy.
that guy's-
is the scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty
Yeah.
cringy.
And
'Cause,
we all
like,
knew it was coming too. We were
Yeah.
like, no, please.
I like that scene though, like when they're in that when they were taking that shortcut, because he's just chilling behind the tree, and the guy's so
Yeah.
drunk he doesn't know what the fuck's going on, and the lights go off, go
Yeah,
back on,
yeah.
he's gone. I was like, that's pretty cool.
Okay, so here are the highlights from it, in my personal opinion. The things they did right, for sure. One, they made Michael Myers look like an unstoppable object,
Mhm.
basically. He was just going to do his thing, and his kills were brutal. No one's going to stop him. The other thing was that, like, they did a great homage to the first one, where you have to look for Michael Myers in every
Yeah,
frame.
that's what I was doing. I
Yeah.
asked Keelan and Megan, I was like, did you guys see him in the gas station scene?
Yeah,
They're
did you
like,
guys see him?
Uh-uh.
Well, he was saying something about that guy that got his jaw ripped open. He was like,
Yeah, it was brutal.
I was like, well, did you not see him like walking around in the background? And they were like, no. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, at the gas station. So at the gas station, because I was doing this too. The whole movie, I was just looking
I didn't know
in the
I had to
background.
look for him around.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
in the
dude.
first Halloween, like,
They
in the
shoot
original.
it specifically like
Yeah.
that, where
Yeah.
like the character,
He's in,
there,
like,
it's
a
like a
little
wide
frame.
shot.
yeah, so the characters, it's more dramatic irony.
Yeah.
There's like a scene where Dr. Loomis is talking to like the sheriff of the town about Michael Myers, and Michael is parked like 500 feet behind them, and then he just like drives off, and you're like, there's Michael.
Yeah.
You
Well,
find
Michael
because
Myers
because-
driving. Oh, I guess he did drive in this movie too. It just seems
They
weird to
don't
think of
really
him driving.
show him
He pops the
driving, just-
trunk and then
well,
That's-
it's pretty
yeah.
it's pretty implied that he drives.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
drives.
Oh yeah, he did get in the car
It's
because I
weird to
kind of
think about,
chuckled a
though.
little bit because I was just like,
But
why
they
does he
wouldn't
drive?
show him driving. But it's like he's got
It's
the
just
mask on and he's driving. That just
He
seems
does
a
that in the
little
first
weird.
one. He
Yeah.
literally like he's like creeping on Lori.
But
He's
you get to
driving by
see
and
it?
he's just like
Yeah, no,
You
like
see
you
him
see him
driving.
driving by, and
That's
it's like,
it's kind of funny.
That's
Yeah.
almost equally as funny as if they showed him running. And he's
Right.
like-
oh god.
Well, like fucking Rob Zombie, he there was some commentary where he's talking about that. He's like, I always thought it always bothered me that Michael drives, so he just walks everywhere. He walks 150 miles to Haddonfield. So I mean, like, it's just weird because they don't explain that he can drive since he's been locked up since he was
Yeah.
like 6.
Yeah.
I was gonna say they do make it like a little throwaway line in the first one because they were like,
But Lou was just like, someone must have gave him lessons.
yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, I was doing that too. I was always watching in the background, like, where's he at?
Yeah, but that
And
gas
the gas
station
station
was the
one-
best.
I almost missed it, but like, because I mean, it's pretty obvious that in that one part, because it's like showing the one guy, he's getting gas, and you can see him. They're just not focusing on him.
Well, was
Yeah,
that
'cause he's
whenever
in all
he?
white.
So he kills them and then gets the mask. So when you see him in
Yeah.
that one, does he not have the mask on?
So
He doesn't.
okay, so the start of that scene, they're at the gas station. She's
Yeah.
like, "All right, I'm gonna go to the loo," and he's getting gas. Well,
Funny.
Michael somehow followed them there, and you see him just walk in the background. He's still in his like
Is like
outfit,
Yeah,
Jumpsuit thing.
and
yeah, not
then
his jumpsuit. Because
and
he
then-
kills the people to get the mechanic's uniform.
yeah,
But
so
he's
you-
in like a prisoner's outfit.
Yeah,
he's in his white outfit,
Yeah, his
and
mental
you just
voice.
see him in the background. Like they don't even. It's like he's really out of focus, so you really just see like his shape walk by, and then as the guy goes to pay at the counter, if you look in the background, like through a window, you can see him like punching someone,
Yeah.
and then he gets his.
Well, the other
outfit.
thing that wasn't explained was, do you think that the doctor was the one who crashed the bus?
Yeah, I think so.
Because he was like
Based
"I'll
on
follow
the-
you everywhere."
based on,
and
like-
I was like, what the fuck is this guy doing? Like,
Based on the bullshit that guy pulled, like I definitely think
because they
he
didn't
had
show
some-
the wreck, so
Right.
to make it surprising for the doctor to like be like,
Yeah, I think that's part of the twist
Even
too.
though they
Is like,
already-
oh, he let him out because the whole thing with him is he was like, I want to see what he's like out in the wild,
yeah,
and then I want to know what it's like to kill people. I'm like, just what?
Just, I
Just
don't know, read a
kill.
book.
His whole thing, I just didn't understand.
Yeah.
I could have done without his character to be
yeah, it
honest,
was a little
Yeah,
weird.
that's true.
or at least just let him die when the kid shot him. I was like, fuck
Right.
it.
They
That-
did do a
that
really
kid-
good job of making sure that like you didn't see Michael's face. Like when he didn't have his mask, they made sure you didn't see the
He
whole
looks
thing.
kind of like he could
Oh,
be
his
like
eyes?
he looks like
yeah,
he
or
could-
anything. Like all you saw was like his like just like up
I
to his,
mean,
like lips.
I saw you see like a little you get like little bits and pieces of it, so I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I can kind of see his face, and there's a one shot where they show his eye is
Yeah.
scarred, and I think that's like from the coat hanger or something. in the
Yeah,
first
yeah.
one.
Which again, great attention to
It
detail.
looks like the old guy from like Don't Breathe is what he looks like.
Oh,
But
yeah.
also, if you look at his face and his hair, he looks like he could be the same age as his mom in that movie, though.
His mom.
Or,
Oh, Laurie
Laurie?
Strode.
or yeah,
I mean,
He's
he's a little bit older than her.
yeah, technically she'd be like
Like
almost,
it's like 40.
she'd almost be 60, but he's 61 in this film. He's old as fuck,
Yeah, he is.
which
But,
is funny, but
Yeah.
um Yeah, so I like the attention to details. I liked, that they were like putting him in the background. So it didn't seem like they did it a whole lot, but I was looking for it. And like in the third act when she's up in that room and he's in the room there, but I'm just like, where the fuck's he at? Because it's like, where could he be hiding? And
Right.
I'm like, I bet he's got to be behind these mannequins, but I don't know. And I just couldn't see anything. But I was searching the whole time, like, oh, where's he at? Where's he at?
That was pretty
And
good.
I thought there was some pretty good suspense. Like I was like, oh man, what's gonna happen next? Like the whole third act, I was pretty suspenseful. When he finally shows up in Haddonfield, starts going door to door, was pretty suspenseful.
That was pretty cool.
I'm not gonna lie, this is the first time I watched a horror movie. I mean, since I've been like a grown up, I guess, where I've been like actually kind of nervous about what's gonna happen because I thought he was gonna kill that baby.
Oh,
I started
Yeah.
like gripping my skill up. I was like,
Me too. He stopped and was like,
ah, man.
child.
Anytime there's stuff with babies now, I cringe because I'm like, oh my god, don't hurt the baby. But I was like, I thought he was gonna kill it, and I was like, holy shit.
I
but they
just
didn't do
assumed
it.
that since he was like running into kids that whole time, that he probably wouldn't kill a baby. Like
Yeah.
there's so many kids.
Well,
running around on
I mean,
Halloween.
like, so they killed that one kid, which I was like, ah, that's cool. I mean, I
What one
admire
oh yeah, the
fucking
one kid who was
ballerina
like,
kid.
yeah,
Hey, Dad, I want to take ballerina lessons.
yeah.
no,
that
he
guy.
killed. No, he didn't.
Yeah, he
kill
did.
him.
Yeah, he did.
He
He,
snaps
like,
his
he
neck.
snapped his neck and then took his
Oh,
car.
yeah. I thought for some reason I just took that out of my mind and thought he got his head like bashed across it. But
Nah,
No.
oh yeah, that's what I was laughing about too. Is like whenever that
that kid
runs in and
Yeah.
shoots the doctor and he's like, oh shit.
Yeah, he's like, oh shit.
Yeah,
Don't shoot. Oh shit.
I can admire somebody that's willing to like kill a kid in a movie
What the fuck?
Jesus.
because it's like
Oh, I know.
most
Okay,
movies
okay.
don't do it,
Yeah,
and then when they do
I don't
it, you're
know
like,
why.
oh shit, they're crossing that
I
line.
took that as you saying you admire Michael Myers for killing a kid, but
Oh,
now
no.
I get what you're saying.
Like,
Put
cause
it
like
in
in
the
Predator, it was like,
That
oh,
kid
he's
honestly
gonna
should've been dead.
kill those kids,
Yeah.
and then he doesn't.
And then
And
he
I'm like, oh, you pussies. And it's like any movie
Hey,
with children
Star Wars
actors.
did it.
What?
Woo!
Oh yeah, you don't
Those
see it happen.
younglings gotta go, baby.
You don't see it happen. But yeah, I was like, that's pretty good. I was like, all right. And then I was like, oh shit, is he gonna kill that baby? But I was like, I don't feel like. And some people or like talk about it. They're like, man, I don't like. He must obviously have some kind of moral compass that he wouldn't kill a baby. I was like, I just don't think he has any reason to kill a child. That
Yeah.
like
That's what I think.
it's just
too.
too easy for him. I guess. Like
Yeah,
that's
like,
just too easy. I'm not saying anything he does is necessarily hard, but it's just like I don't think he has a reason to kill a child because there's just no sport in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's like the Predator thing.
And I
There's
think-
no sport in it.
And I think he
Even though
only
majority of them, they're not really much sport, and except for the ending, obviously, because he got exposed. Exposed.
Exposed out in the open.
but yeah.
But
Yeah, it's just like the characters. I was kind of like, I feel like they didn't focus on Laurie enough. I felt like
that is true.
that was pretty much the premise of the whole film. Was it's dealing with Laurie's issues, which I don't know if it's just me. I mean, I understand that what she went through is pretty traumatic and whatnot, but she went like full on fucking like doomsday
Yeah.
preppers
Yeah.
for a
The
guy
The
that.
doors.
I-
Each room had
I'm
the
not,
doors on.
but I did like that stuff because I was
That
like,
was
that
really
makes
cool.
sense.
that was
I was like,
smart,
that makes
but
sense.
it's also like that's a little like too far for preparing on that one.
No, it makes perfect sense because
Well,
then
it makes
he
sense.
can't pop out if he was hiding in that room.
Yeah,
He can't come out,
but that means like
and he can't go in.
why couldn't she disclose all of them and then just poke a gun through and be like, you got to make your way out here
It's not
someday.
that simple.
Well,
Yeah.
what I don't get is that they didn't fucking camp hard as fuck and be like, you could just all be in the basement and then point your guns up to where the only place you can get through. I thought that he was gonna take that, what's that, fire poker? And
Oh, yeah.
creak it through the basement and
Yeah.
like, try to like stab
Kind of
someone
what
with
I
it.
thought too, but
I was like, because like there's no other way, because they're making me nervous because I thought that the daughter was actually going to be like a terrible shot and be like, I can't do it, but then she traded it on him, still missed the shot, but it was still like
well,
they
she
all
had
could just
she
be
had a
down
quick
there.
scope him.
Just be like, get your daughter, get her a gun, you have a gun, don't make it a bolt action, make it a shotgun, idiot. And because there was a pump shotgun down there, and I was like, why is nobody fucking using that? You don't use a lever action like slug round to be like a sniper shot. That's like a one shot thing. You just do the shotgun, get him damaged, and then you can go up to him and like pop him a couple more times.
That scene I thought was pretty cool. It was like,
You
they
could just
got him.
camp it. You could just camp the thing and just be like, wait till he shows his face. But no,
No.
she has to walk around the house for like a solid 15 minutes of just pure suspense. That was probably my favorite part of the movie, though. Was
Yeah.
like her like walking in the house.
That was
that's probably
intense.
why they did it. But it was like you could just sit down there. But
I don't think
it
that's as
they wouldn't be that.
It seems
entertaining.
funny
Yeah.
because they set it up as a bunker, but then like, oh, it's a trap. And
Yeah.
I was like, well, that seems kind of odd because it seems like you're prepared to live down there if you needed to. But
It's also got flamethrowers everywhere.
Contingencies, bro.
anyways, I thought that was pretty cool. I like that too. There was like, it's not a bunker, it's a trap. Oh shit. But that's kind of another homage. That whole scene where she like shoots him, and then like Michael falls out of frame, and then it's just like a fucking it's just like Laurie's face, just like sitting there,
Yeah.
like Happy Halloween, Michael.
That's
That-
great.
I like. I knew what they were doing there, but I kind of laughed a little bit because it just seemed so fast. Whereas
Yeah.
like the other one, it was like real slow and
The
panned
face
over.
Yeah.
It was just like it's all darkness, and then there's just her face lit up. It's like Happy Halloween, Michael. I was like, oh, okay, but that's cool. So, but yeah, like overall, I thought it was good. I just think that like some of the characters could have been good without. And it seemed like it was like the Terminator. I mean, a lot of people have said this, but it's like the Terminator 2 of the Halloween series because it's like more running and gunning. There's
Right.
no real like, there's no real suspense of like him just stalking somebody. He's just like,
Going around
moving.
killing. Yeah.
which it's very. I just it kind of goes into like the whole motivation of him is like because the first one he just gets back to his house and then after that he just starts following Laurie around. So he had like just one set of victims going, but then like this one, it's like he didn't really have anybody.
He just went around.
So it was just like like that one was slow and meticulous, which is what built up the suspense of like that whole movie. Is like when are you gonna get him? And then when it does, you're like oh shit. And then this one is just like he doesn't have anybody he's necessarily going after. He's just going after whoever. And then it just seemed like for like convenience of the plot, because obviously we introduced this character, they got to die. Because it just seemed like so you have the blonde girl and the stoner, and it's like
And they gotta go.
they like he just happens to go to their house. Like there's no real like explanation of like why he picked it or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's just you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
Because in the first one, it was like
He saw
he-
them. He
he-
followed them.
yeah
He knew
followed
their routine.
right. So he knew where they all lived. He knew their plan. This one, it was just like he just popped up in like one of the main characters' house, but it's like, did he know that she lived there? Did he just randomly show up there? I don't know. But I mean, some of that stuff, I was like, all right. But overall, I'd say out of the whole series, this is probably the best sequel of it. I think,
For sure.
and I think what helps with it is the music and his design because if he didn't look good, I think that would hurt it. And I think the music being by John Carpenter, like it's basically
Oh
like
yeah.
it's basically like the same music, but they just kind of like upbeat a little bit.
They
I thought it
did
was
a
really
lot more
good.
to it. It was really good.
I feel like it's even like really hard to mess up his outfit though. I mean,
They do it in every
obviously,
single
it's
one
just,
after
it's
that.
always just the mask.
but this one just seems fun. Like it seemed like easy because they did it. Like it should have been like that the whole time.
Well,
That's how it looked.
that's a problem with the whole series. Is like, how can you not just get this mask down? These motherfuckers in 1978, they literally went to a store and bought a fucking
Captain Kirk.
Captain Kirk mask,
And
a
just
William
sprayed
Shatner
him.
mask,
Yeah.
and that was it. And it looks perfect. But then like you go into 2 and it's like somehow it's different. And then you go into 4, it's fucking
Weird.
it's just well. And what's weird too is the fact that he can just continuously find masks at the store that look like identical to that.
Yeah. Who's carrying some white, like some painted white Captain
Yeah.
Kirk masks every Halloween?
It's just like, oh, that's just what it looks like. We just always have this mask. And then like when you go from 4 to 5, like 4 to 5, blows my fucking mind because they're back to back, but literally his fucking mask is completely different.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck are you doing?
It's just so terrible.
Oh man, it just blows my mind.
Right, we
but-
never did get to ask, because Keelan and I said ours, but what's your favorite horror movie?
I mean, now I'd say it's Halloween, the first one,
Oh, okay.
I mean,
High
like-
five, dude.
because like
You suck, Keelan.
No.
'cause now that I'm getting into films and stuff, like I've been, and I was listening to that Halloween podcast that I told
Right,
you about.
right.
Like I just listened to like everything going on. I was like, I kind of like everything that John Carpenter is doing is kind of like what I'm trying to do. So I'm like, I kind of feel inspired by his work, and it is a good film. Like, I mean, obviously it's like not the most well written in terms of like,
Right,
dialogue
yeah.
and stuff. It's just like a well put together film. And I mean, I'd say after that, it's probably like the Child's Play 2 because I just like
What, the second one?
second one's pretty good.
Well, yeah, but why not the first one? Just good.
Well, I actually watched it the other a couple weeks ago, and I was like, the only reason I didn't like the first one as much is because it just seemed I thought that the whole like who done it kind of thing took
Oh,
too
right.
long, but actually it doesn't take that long at all to
Yeah, it
like
doesn't
actually
take
get
too
into
long.
the fact that
It doesn't.
it's Chucky. But I just like the second one. I don't know, something about the second one. He just seems more like crazier. I don't know.
Oh, that
It's
is
kinda weird.
true. He is just like,
He is a lot. He's like a lot more like crazy, which is funny because I watched the trailer for that movie, Child's Play 2, because it's on the DVD. They literally show every single kill in that film in the trailer, and I was like, I just watched basically the whole movie,
You know
Right
who dies
there.
and everybody?
huh?
You know who dies?
Like literally,
or the
like I
important
watched the
kills.
trailer and I was like, okay, there's
There's that death.
there's that guy. Oh, there's her. I was like, I don't think there was a
This is
single death scene not shown in this trailer.
oh my god.
They literally show everybody, even the guy that gets like the fucking
oh,
eyeballs.
the
plugged in.
eyeballs, which wouldn't work, but whatever.
Yeah,
but
but yeah, I mean, I'd say now right now it's Halloween. Before I like the Friday the 13th series, but I think that's just because I just thought Jason as a character just seemed more like,
cool or unstoppable.
yeah, he just seemed more like a bigger threat.
Right. More mysterious too.
Yeah,
I just didn't do shit.
not that like that series at all is any better. Like I
Yeah.
said, when they take a simplistic like idea and they stretch it out, you're bound to get some real shitty. Like part 7 of Friday the 13th is basically Carrie versus Jason Voorhees, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? And then you get Jason takes Manhattan, but
Oh
50,
man.
like 90% of that movie takes place
All
on a
these
boat.
sound extremely ridiculous.
They are.
Takes man.
And then once you get to Jason Goes to Hell, then you're like, well, all logic's out the fucking door.
Dude,
because-
don't forget Friday the 13th Part 3. Dude.
What's the goes to hell? Does he actually go?
So that movie,
Yeah.
Jason
it just like-
dies in the
Yeah.
first 5 minutes. He gets blown up.
Yeah, like literally the first 5 minutes occurs like he stalks some girl, and you're like, hold up. It was just so this whole entire military force could find you and blow you to fucking
Yeah.
Kingdom
The
Come.
SWAT team just
So
like
he
shows
dies,
up.
and then
He gets blown up.
So
His-
what's he
They
doing in
blow
hell?
him
so no, okay,
What do
he
you think
doesn't
he's
go to
doing
hell.
in hell?
Oh, okay.
He's not in hell. So what happens is this coroner's like taking shit from his body or whatever, and then something just compels him to like eat Jason's heart. So he eats Jason's heart, and then like the spirit of Jason starts swirling around him and goes
Yeah.
inside of him. So
Yeah.
now Jason's just this like black doctor,
Really?
and the
Yeah.
whole movie is him body hopping from one person to the next.
Yeah.
So he
and-
can just eat other people's hearts and
He doesn't. No, so he only eats the heart once. Then he's inside of a guy, and then after that, he transfers his essence
Yeah.
via a demon lizard
Yeah.
through the mouth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And the only way to kill Jason is to be a Voorhees. So you have to be
Yeah.
a bloodline descendant.
So you have to be like a relative to.
So
Jason?
Yeah.
he had a sister that no one ever knew about.
How does anybody figure it out though? Like,
So-
you have to do it because you're his sister.
Somehow they find out
Yeah,
that
it's
they're
ridiculous.
related. And then I don't even remember how
Well,
the
no,
fuck
how
this.
did- yeah.
I don't even remember how the fuck this happened.
How do you find out that's the only way you can kill him though?
They just somehow they figured it out. So here's
Look,
the thing.
you gotta watch it for
Absolutely
yourself,
ridiculous.
all right?
So
I'm
there's
not sure if I want
wait,
to.
you and I we watched that one. This is when I moved into my first apartment.
The
We
only
watched
one,
that one.
The only one I remember watching was when they were on the boat.
That
There
is
was like a boat
Manhattan,
scene.
my boy.
It's Manhattan.
Well, you came over when I first moved out, and we
Uh-huh.
watched it. It's the one where they were like sitting in a car talking about like having sex and stuff, and it was really awkward. You probably don't remember too much,
I
but
don't. If it's possible. I don't remember.
yeah, it's pretty forgettable. But what happened was that New Line took over the Friday the 13th franchise.
Yeah.
But I don't think they could legally call it Friday the 13th, or they were trying to differentiate it. So they just called it like Jason Goes to Hell, and it has nothing to do with the previous ones.
Sounds pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then at the very end, somehow he pops up out of his basement with his mask and everything. He's ready to go.
Yeah.
And then Necronomicon from Evil Dead's in it. And then at the very end, after he gets dragged into hell by these rock arms.
I love that word too.
What?
Necronomicon.
So yeah, and then the big twist at the end is Freddy's hand comes out of the ground and
Yeah,
You're
pulls
like,
the mask.
whoa, this is gonna be too
Because
much."
New Line Cinema did A Nightmare
so
on
they
Elm
can
Street.
cross them over.
And then Jason X, he just goes to space. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
cool.
No.
He goes to space.
You know what's funny too is in Halloween, I think, is it Resurrection? One of the movies says something about Michael Myers going to space, and I was like, that's pretty funny because I don't know,
Yeah,
because I'm pretty sure this
yeah
is
I'm pretty
out
sure it
before.
was after Jason
What was
X.
that
I
one
think.
movie where they started putting criminals on the moon?
What the hell
What?
are you talking about? Are you high?
Criminals
It had,
on the Moon.
The guy who is
They started
he's
putting-
Machete.
Danny Trejo?
Yeah, he's on the moon, but he's like they're in prisoner outfits.
What are you talking about? I do not remember this.
Are you talking
Was it
about
an Austin Powers or
Predators?
something like that?
Are you talking about Predators when they all get transported to an alien planet?
No.
No.
Because
It's
there's
like
a
they're
guy.
on the moon. Prisoners
I do-
on the moon.
I do
I'm gonna
not.
look it up after this. And
Oh,
I'll update
okay.
everyone.
Maybe you're just
I
talking about
guarantee I saw
Machete. Maybe you're just talking about Machete Goes to Space.
I feel like it's possible that it's one of the
Uh,
Spy Kids movies.
it might be.
Maybe.
Spy Kids. That's the
Maybe
one.
Spy Kids.
That makes the most logical sense. But
Yeah,
I
that's
can't
fair.
Because
think of
Danny Trejo was in that movie, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, he
he's
was in
Machete.
those.
I'm pretty sure he's on the moon in one of them as a prisoner.
Gotcha.
He's Machete in that movie.
Yeah. He is.
Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because Robert Rodriguez
missed
made
that.
both those films,
The
and
Spy Kids movies are pretty cool. Pretty tight.
I remember the first. I
If
never
you
watched
look,
the first.
If you look
one.
back on them, they're absolute shit. But when I was a
Yeah,
kid, I was
okay,
like,
okay, there you go.
3D. That movie was.
I never watched
Tight.
the first one, and then the reason I wanted to watch the second one because of the monster fight that they had,
Oh yeah, with the
and then like
spider monkey.
I don't remember jack shit about the film, but then I watched 3, and
3D.
yeah,
Elijah Wood.
Elijah Wood.
Elijah
also.
Wood.
And then he dies, doesn't he?
Yeah.
It's like fucking
Instantly.
fake.
Because he thinks he's the. It's not the cho. Is it the chosen
Yeah,
one? Or
or
is it, there's
something.
some other word for it, but he's like he walks in.
and just dies.
his bar starts going down. I got to get bouncing though. So I gotta
Okay.
wrap it up.
So
But thank you, Radar.
yeah. Oh, I do before we wrap it up.
Okay, yeah.
Want to recommend 2 horror movies
Do it.
for people listening. So they're both slasher flicks, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so the first one is Black Christmas, and this one heavily inspired Halloween, the first
It was
Halloween.
before Halloween.
Yeah, it came out in
Okay.
'74, and
Didn't they make a remake of that?
they did. It sucks ass.
Okay.
So watch the
I assume
'74
that's
one.
Why you're not
Yeah,
like referencing that one?
and it's crazy because basically every time the killer kills, it's through his point of view.
Yeah.
So you're like seeing the killer kill these people, and it's crazy because in the first scene, this girl, it's like at a sorority house at a college.
You're spoiling the whole.
I know, right? And this girl's
watch
getting-
this movie. This is what happens in it.
Okay, I'm just spoiling the
I'm
first
just-
5 minutes.
I'm just-
But
At the
he
end,
like
you find out it's Hannah.
yeah, right. And then so this and he just like strangles this girl in her closet.
Yeah.
And like with like a saran wrap, little bag,
Mhm.
and just puts her up in the attic right by the window. And no one fucking notices. So like the whole movie, her body's just up
Oh,
there
okay,
in
yeah.
the window.
Like in front of, like so where if you're looking outside the house.
Yeah, I feel like outside
Yeah.
the house looking up at the attic window. There's her face like
Yeah.
but it's great. And it's got like 2 twists in it.
Yeah.
It's got 2, dude.
Whoa.
And
Whoa.
they're
That's a lot
great.
more than-
Don't spoil.
I'm not gonna spoil them, but I will say that one of those twists
Oh, here we go.
was done before another horror movie. And the other horror movie did that twist, and that's what that movie's famous for. but it was already done like 10 years earlier.
So someone stole it and they
Yeah.
took the glory.
And then the other one is actually not a good movie, but watch it anyways. It's a campy B-rate horror movie. It's called Sleepaway Camp. It's
I know about that shit.
Yeah, it's literally if you know the twist, don't even bother. But if you don't know the twist, watch it because the twist ending will have you go, huh?
I wish
What?
I wish I didn't know what happens, but sometimes I'll get a movie spoiled for me, and it makes me want to watch it. To be like, I
right,
want to know
right.
how to get to this. But
Yeah, but so the twist comes, and your basic reaction is, huh? Oh, okay. And that's basically the
I
twist.
found out the other day there's a third movie.
There's
I
a
knew there was-
fourth,
Oh yeah, that's right. I
There's
was
a
like,
fourth
I
one.
knew there was 2, and then I was like, what the fuck?
which
There's 3?
which
And I was like,
yeah.
4? I was like, what can you do with this? Like, what are you doing?
After the twist comes at the end of the first one, you're like, where do you possibly go from there? But they did, apparently. So, but I want to recommend those two to anyone who listens to the podcast and likes horror movies.
Watch those movies.
Watch
And
them.
wrap it up
It's
with
time
a
to- it's time
Call
to
of Duty
wrap
segment.
it up.
Oh no!
Call of Duty, I went 3.0 yesterday.
Buff the SMGs. That's all I have to say about that. Call of Duty segment over.
Beautiful.
And that was about it.
Oh,
Seems like we always have like a checklist that's not real, and we're just like, all right, we're just gonna
Yeah.
talk about this and this.
And we'll possibly see you next week based off the rapid scheduling now.
Yep.
Maybe next week.
We had because we had to do it weird because
Yeah.
Radar can't.
And
do
you're
it during the
moving
week.
and
Yeah,
everything
sorry.
like that. So we just didn't do one.
Nah, but thanks for coming on.
yeah.
Thank you.
Cool times. Invite me back.
And thank you for listening.
I like
I really like that.